I love people, for I have learned through many experiences, both happy and sad, how beautiful and wonderful they can be.
Those words were penned in 1955 by Marshall M. Fredericks, a sculptor known throughout America and abroad for his monumental figurative sculpture, inspiring public memorials, exuberant fountains, insightful portraits, and whimsical sculptures of animals. Many highlights of his life's work are on permanent display at the Marshall M. Fredericks Sculpture Gallery, housed in the Arbery Fine Arts Center on the campus of Saginaw Valley State University. As you approach the gallery, you are greeted by a joyous collection of outdoor bronze sculptures, most wearing the light green patina favored by the artist throughout his career. Inside, you come face to face with a festival of forms to delight the senses. There are over 200 sculptures, a small fraction of Fredericks' lifetime production. The collection includes the original plaster models for many of Fredericks' greatest works.
The artist's job really is to free people from the earth and to allow his spirit to soar.
Marshall Fredericks was born in Rock Island, Illinois in 1908. His father was a construction engineer, and the young Fredericks would often help his dad on various projects, in the process acquiring an appreciation for the many construction elements and details so vital in his future work. He graduated from the Cleveland School of Art in 1930 and won a traveling fellowship. He chose to go to Stockholm, Sweden, to study with the popular figurative sculptor Carl Milles. Upon his return to the States, he taught briefly at the Cleveland School of Art before joining the faculty of Cranbrook Academy of Art and Cranbrook and Kingswood Schools in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan in 1932. Fredericks remained at Cranbrook until 1942 when he joined the Armed Forces. He served first in the Engineer Corps, later transferring to the Air Corps. Lieutenant Colonel Fredericks retired from the service in 1945 and returned to Michigan to open his studio. He has been here ever since, giving shape to his creativity every day of the week for half a century.
These are the important parts of an artist's work, the things you make with your own hands.
To gain some appreciation of what's involved in transforming an inspired idea into a three-dimensional work of art, let's take a look at the process. The sculptor often begins by making drawings. Then he forms a small model. Once satisfied with the model, he enlarges it by building an armature, a skeleton of sorts. Then he applies clay to the armature. Once this model is completed, a plaster mold is built around it. When the plaster mold hardens, it is carefully taken apart and the clay removed from the inside. Fresh plaster is then poured into the mold, creating a positive plaster model like these in the Marshall Fredericks Sculpture Gallery.
I think it's like a dream come true, and I never really believed it would happen until the people who made it happen did so.
The Marshall M. Fredericks Sculpture Gallery is largely a result of the efforts of Mr. and Mrs. Ned Arbery, longtime patrons of the arts and Saginaw Valley State University. Their fundraising effort made it possible to open the gallery in the Arbery Fine Arts Center in 1988. Another stroke of good fortune for the gallery was the fact that the sculptor had saved so many of his models and was willing to donate them.
Well, I think it's wonderful to have the opportunity to place so many of my works in one place.
The gallery houses the most extensive collection of Fredericks sculptures in existence, including models and casts of his best-known and best-loved work. The most famous local work is The Spirit of Detroit. It is a colossal figure which kneels outside the entrance to Detroit City County Building. It was designed to express the spirit of man through God and the family. In the early 50s, Fredericks was called to Indian River, Michigan, and asked to build a 6-foot-tall figure of Christ for the Catholic shrine. His response was typical of his attitude toward his art.
And I said, well, I would open your mind and just absolutely dream about what would be the most exciting thing you could do. Do the largest crucifix in the world.
A unique aspect of making the clay model of the Christ figure was how smoothly it seemed to come together.
I kept adding clay, and I'd touch it up with a tool, but I never had to correct anything, really. It just seemed to work in a mysterious way. I like to feel that in some way I was guided a little bit with that project.
The largest crucifix in the world was finished in 1959, and Fredericks the philanthropist accepted not a single cent for his services. Fredericks also contributed his services on the Fountain of Eternal Life, located in Cleveland, Ohio. This is the largest sculptural fountain in the world. The figure in the center rises 37 feet from the flames of war, reaching upward and onward toward eternal life. In addition to his religious sculptures and public monuments, Fredericks produced some light-hearted work, such as this delightful boy and his bear. Aesop's fabled lion and mouse were captured in this fanciful work. Few individuals have given so much of their life to their art, and given their art to so many. Come enjoy it soon at the Marshall M. Fredericks Gallery. Share in the celebration of the Spirit.
Well, I would like to be remembered for doing sculpture that has meaning for many people, that in some way would inspire them, encourage them, and give them happiness. That would make me happy.